Welcome back to the broadcast. You're watching Newsline. Now, as Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yattani prepares to table the 2021-22 budget on Thursday, all eyes will be on President Uhuru Kenyatta's economic legacy. Kenyans will be looking at figures in this year's budget, which is heavily focused on the president's legacy and post-COVID recovery. KTN's Kipkemboi reports on the legacy budget.
The 2021-2022 budget estimate stands at 3.6 trillion shillings, a rise from 3.2 trillion shillings in the current financial year. Manufacturing, universal health coverage and affordable housing are among the key pillars of the Kenyatta-led administration. In the estimates, 135.2 billion shillings has been allocated to the Big Four agenda, a 7 billion shillings increase from the current financial year. Food security has received 2 billion shillings extra to 54.2 billion shillings, with a heavy focus on the agricultural sector.
The government is sorting out the tea sector in terms of ensuring that returns to farmers is improved. They are also sorting out the issue of coffee. In fact, in the economic stimulus, they are focusing on about 200,000 farmers in terms of economic stimulus to offer subsidized inputs through e-voucher systems.
Estimate allocation to the universal health agenda has reduced to 47.7 billion shillings from 50 billion shillings, with health spend still being minimal. 14.8 billion shillings will go towards affordable housing, with 18.4 billion shillings channeled towards manufacturing. These areas are poised to experience significant growth if well funded.
Because at the end of the day, manufacturing is where we create the most jobs. And if we can expand manufacturing and ensure that we take advantage of the African continent, that alone can be able to push our country into upper middle income economic status as soon as possible.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has anchored infrastructural development as part of his legacy, with standard gauge railway, the Lamu and Kisumu ports, and kilometers of roads made across the country. Amidst all this, the big question remains:
are these infrastructural projects going to help us increase imports, or are they going to help us to increase exports? I think the bottom line is to ensure that the country enhances her productive capacity, so that we use the port of Lamu, we use the port of Mombasa and the port of Kisumu to sell more of Kenyan products outside of the country rather than importing. Currently, as we speak, the country imports 3 times more than what we export.
Even as the president finalizes on his legacy, some Kenyans are concerned whether he has done enough to eradicate corruption.
Everything has gone up. Although the president is trying so much, but the people who are behind him are still pulling him back because of corruption.
The Big Four agenda is a very good initiative brought about by the president. And I think, however, it has been hijacked following the current political temperatures in the Republic, and which is something that should not be embraced.
Ningekuwa president, my friend, watu hiyo pesa yote ingekuja kwa wananchi wa kawaida. Wasilie sana. Sababu mtu hawezi kuwa anaiba pesa, wengine walipi. Unajua akiwa pesa hawezi lipa. Sababu anajua akilipa ataulizwa pesa hizo zote umetoa wapi ama namna gani. Kwa hiyo uangalie hii maneno. Hii mwaka moja imebaki. In
fact, the government is set to borrow 1.63 trillion shillings to help finance the budget deficit amidst concerns of a mounting public debt.
If they can use the loan in the proper way, it's not a bad thing. Though the people who are receiving the money are misusing it.
Napata hata akiomba madeni bado hatakuwa amesaidia chochote sababu wale wezi bado wako pale na wanaendelea kuiba.
For now, the economic recovery is pegged on the spontaneity of mass vaccination, with the current budget estimates allocating 15.4 billion shillings in the fight against COVID-19.
Unless a new strategy is thought about where the country is allowed to focus on vaccinating even up to 20 million Kenyans by end of next year, even 30 million, whereby we have government as well as private sector players participating in vaccine, because there's no shortcut and there's no way out in terms of, post-COVID recovery, economic recovery strategy.
And this Big Four agenda even though it's likely that he's not going to like fully implement it, but the way he has begun it, I think it's something to appreciate and to embrace, and we should accord him the total support for the remaining time, and I know that we are going to realize something at the end of it.
The COVID-19 pandemic has had devastating impact on the Big Four agenda, slowing its implementation. Allocations in the upcoming budgets to this Big Four agenda will not only be critical in the resuscitation of the economy, but also the economic legacy of the president. Now, Kipkemboi, KTN News, Nairobi.
Kenyans are counting down just the hours and the minutes. In less than 48 hours, the Treasury CS Ukur Yattani will be tabling the 2021-2022 budgets. And you can check out more coverage in your bold newspaper, The Standard, tomorrow. Why it's a race against time for Uhuru. That is the headline on The Standard tomorrow, reporting that the president has 13 months to cement his legacy on development, change the constitution through the BBI, and navigate the heated succession politics. That story is in much more details in page 6 of The Standard. In pages 4 and 5, the Standard team has broken down the numbers for you, and they are reporting it is not a good read, because for every 100 shillings collected in taxes, 70 bob will go into servicing debt, leaving a paltry 30 shillings to fund all other needs. You can check out the analysis in pages 4 and 5. Be sure to grab your copy of the bold newspaper, The Standard, tomorrow.